What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? World, it's your main man, Kareem, Rashed, host of Clearing the Wreckage. Yes, and we got another great episode for you today. I'm so grateful that you're here with me on the journey. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me. And we're about to jump in real quick. We're going to take time to look inside so that we can begin to clear the wreckage. So excited, so happy to have you here with me today. I just want to say thank you again for being on this journey with me. I don't think you understand or know how much that means to me. You are bringing your authentic self to listen, to watch. I am bringing my authentic self to speak to you and to share with you my story. And with that being said, episode 4, what's up? Episode 4, let's get it. Let's get it. Episode 4 is about seeking help. Seeking help. If you've been with me for the past 3 episodes, you know I'm telling you basically a story. So with that, I always recap because it is a story, right? And it is being written right now. It is not finished. It's not over. It's still being written. Isn't that something? So the story starts off with me wrecking my life. That's how the story starts off. And then you have all of this material or fragments or remains, things that are left from the wreckage. And then so episode 2, I told you I had all of that. I didn't see none of that. It was, people called me out on all the freaking scraps that were scraping them whenever they touched me, how quickly they became a part of my wreckage because I projected everything upon them. Then episode 3, I told you how I finally saw it. I finally acknowledged it. Then I had to admit it. So those steps came with me. I had to see it within myself. Then I had to acknowledge that, yep, this is me. Then I had to admit that, oh my gosh, this is on me. You see that pattern? I had to see it. Okay, I see this wreck. I see all this wreckage. Not only that people have been talking about, my mom kicked me out of the house, and she kicked me out of the house because of my wreckage. And now I'm in the woods and I'm living there and my life is wrecked up and I had to see that. And then I had to acknowledge that this is my wreckage. I now acknowledge that yes, this is all mine. Then I had to admit that I am the one that created this wreckage. I am the one that got me to the place that I was. It was nobody's fault. Nobody did it except Kareem, right? So in this episode, after all of that was said and done, I had a choice. Truthfully, if I'm being honest with you, I had a choice right then and there. Okay, I admitted this, so what? Okay. Sometimes it's very easy for us to admit our fault. Sometimes it's very easy to maybe just say, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. But mending that is difficult, right? I know I'm not just talking and blowing smoke up your hoo-ha. It is difficult. If you have wronged someone in the past, it might be easy for you to just say, you know what, hey man, I'm sorry. But what's harder for you to do is actually become different, or because you admitted that, now you know this about yourself, so you will try not to do it again. You will try not to wrong that person in the same way again. That's the difficult thing to do. The difficult thing to do is actually look inside it and start really, now if you admitted that, really, really clearing that wreckage and saying, you know what, I don't want to be like that. I want that part of me out. I don't want those fragments. I don't want those remains to remain, basically, right? And so that's the choice I had was I can leave these remains. I can leave all these scraps of metal and pieces of crap all over me, or I could start doing some work to clear it out. And so seeking help is what I decided to do. And folks, let me tell you, I had no idea what I was doing. I did not know how I was going to seek help. I didn't know the next thing to do. All I knew is that I needed help. So, yeah, I had to come to that conclusion myself, too. If I'm admitting all of this, if I'm taking full responsibility for this, then someone has to help me, because I am the one that got myself in this predicament. And I am obviously in need of some type of support, some type of encouragement, someone to come alongside of me and give me a boost, right? Whether that be a person, whether that be my higher power, who will use people to support and lift me up, right? And the same thing for you. So with that being said, I sought help. I went to the payphone. We had payphones back then. I'm telling you my age right now. Oh my goodness. Y'all are probably like, what? I'm 44, and I have no shame to admit that. Generation X, baby, the best. Anyway, yeah, so I went to the payphone. I called my mother. Now, remember in this story, I've told you, my mother said, do not call me for nothing. I don't want anything to do with you. I wash my hands of you. I don't want to hear it. Because all you're going to do is call me to ask me for something, Kareem. So she knew that about me. So she set that boundary with me, right? And we're going to have an episode further down the road about boundaries. I'm sure we will. So we'll discuss that later. But Mother Dearest had to set a boundary with her son. I needed help so bad that in my mind, I did not want to do it because I felt as if I was crossing that boundary, but I knew she was the only person I could call at the time. Now, you may be asking, well, were you serious about help or did you just call her to ask for? I was serious about getting help. I knew that if I stayed where I was, because I heard it was told to me that I would die, and I did not want to die. So I needed help. So I called Mom. She answers, Mom, hey, I just want to tell you that I don't want anything from you. I just went ahead and cleared the table, right? I'm not going to beat around a bush. I'm not going to sit up here and manipulate you. I'm not going to be the same person that I was. Remember, I just talked about that. So if I've admitted and I've said I'm at fault. I am so sorry. Right there, then and there, I have to take that and I have to go, I am about to clear these nasty remains off of me and do something different. Do something different. Become a better human being. And so that's what I did. So when I called her, I just told her straight up, I said, Mom, first of all, I don't want anything from you. I don't want nothing from you. This is not your son calling you, asking for a handout. I don't want nothing. I will tell you, though, is that I will die out here. I am about to die if I continue living out here and if I continue living the way that I am living. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I'm stuck, obviously, out here. But do you have any resources? And that's all I asked. Yeah. You know, I mean, you can transition me over to someone else. You don't have to deal with me because you don't need to deal with me because your son is trying to be different and I'm going to be different and I don't want you to carry this burden anymore. So lay this burden upon someone else is what I asked. In a nutshell, I mean, not necessarily in those words, but that's pretty much what I did, right? And so she said, well, I don't know anybody. I don't know. I said, Mom, I said, don't you go to church? I said, I ain't trying to go to church and all that, but don't you go to church? And maybe there's somebody. What about a pastor? Give me his number. And maybe he could direct me somewhere. And so that is exactly what I did. I knew that I would die if I stayed in those woods and if I lived the same way that I was living. I chose life, folks. When you're seeking help, why are you seeking help? Okay, so let's talk about that because sometimes we can get caught up in seeking help for show. I'm seeking help because my mom said I need help. I'm seeking help because my dad said I need help. I'm seeking help because the court freaking ordered me to get help. You know? What are your motives behind seeking help? I know for sure that my motives at that time was I cannot live like this anymore. Someone please help me. Someone please help me. So anyway, the pastor came. We ate lunch together. Then he did. He laid the burden. He laid me upon someone else. Quick transition. He didn't want to deal with the burden. He had a whole congregation to lead and worry about. But he took the time to come out and talk to me, hear me out, and hear what I needed to say. I thank him to this day. I'll never forget that guy. He played a major role in my life at that time. And with that being said, so I was transitioned over to someone else. He said, I know somebody. They're going to a meeting tonight. If you want to roll with them, you can. But I'm out of here. And he left. And at that point, the woods were right behind me, and my liquor and my bottles were sitting right there. And nobody was around. This is when integrity hits, folks. I sat there and I said to myself, there is somebody coming to this restaurant to pick me up. They're stopping here on the way to their recovery meeting, expecting me to be here. I can wait for them right here, or I can start walking back to the woods and drink the rest of my liquor and have a grand old time. That was the exact thought process. So then I had to make another choice because I was at a crossroads again. And let me just tell you this right here. When you're trying to do the right thing, when you set your mind to say, you know what, I'm done with this. I want I want help. Let me tell you, those opposing forces will come at you. Your flesh, that opposing force, that disease of mine, which is called my addiction, it came at me full force. Nah, bro, man, just go back to the woods, bro, and drink that liquor, man. What are you doing? What are you about to do? You don't know where they're taking you. You don't know what's going to happen. And bring up all this fear, bring all these things into play to make me question my decision of seeking help. But I stood steadfast. Ooh. Thank you, Lord, that I stood steadfast. And I just sat there and I waited for this guy to come get me. This guy comes to get me, boom, he takes me, we roll over there to that meeting, and then I get to sit down and I listen and I hear people that are just like me, and I'm like, interesting. These people are struggling with all types of addictions just like I am. Okay. Cool. Got something in common with these folks. I didn't ask for anything from that guy. Let me tell you. He took me right back to the woods, and I was okay with that. That's where I stayed at. That's where I lived. He didn't have to, do anything else for me. So he asked me if I wanted to come back next time. I said, sure, just come pick me up. I went to this place every week, and I just listened until I felt comfortable enough to open up. But I met somebody there that I related to 100%. And I knew that if I latch on to this guy, I may receive the help that I'm looking for. And it was only because of the commonality that we had. It wasn't me trying to get anything out of him besides help. It wasn't me trying to mooch off of him to be a leech. None of that. It was, I relate to this guy. I feel like I relate to this guy more than any of the other guys in this meeting place that are sharing about their addiction. Let me get this guy's phone number. Let me talk to him. Let me get lunch with him. Let me, just drift underneath his wings, right? Because I seen and heard his story, and I heard him sharing. And then so I got lunch with this guy, and he shared his story with me, and this was the only person in there that actually took the time to get lunch with me and who shared their story with me. He didn't chastise me, didn't say, well, Kareem, you came to the right place. I'm so glad that you called me because you really do need help because you're an alcoholic. No, he shared his story of addiction with me. And that right there, let me tell you, the wreckage was just, it was clearing. It just kept clearing. And that hope, I'm telling you, that hope just kept like showing his face, right? Just kept showing his face like, man, if this guy can do it, I can do it. His life resembles mine. His life resembles mine. Oh my gosh. And so that's what I did, folks. And so I just want to share that with you. And I want to encourage you right now. This is the part of the episode where I want to encourage you. If you have anything similar or not, but it's similar to where you're stuck in life, and you got this wreckage that's just hanging on to you, right? You can't move forward because of all of these scraps of metal and all of this crap that's weighing you down, or the wreckage that is in the way is in front of you, and you can't, it's in front of you, around you, you're surrounded by it. You can't get around it. I don't know what it is. It can be depression. It can be anxiety. It can be a relationship. It can be an abusive relationship. It can be childhood trauma. I have no idea. But let me tell you this. There is help and there is hope. You just have to seek it. If you're at that place now, again, listen to me, it's going to take what it takes for you to get to that place to where you're able to seek help. But there are resources out there for you. At that time, when you seek, there's somebody that said this in a very, and not in a religious way at all, because I'm not being religious when I say this, but this person said this: if you seek, you shall find. If you are ready, and you don't even have to be ready, you just have to be willing. And then take a step forward and seek help. Ask, I'm struggling with depression. Put it out there. I don't want to deal with depression anymore. You know, there's resources for that. There's psychiatrists, there's therapists, same with anxiety, same with all these, symptoms that we have. And I'm calling them symptoms. I'm not calling them disorders for a reason. But whatever it might be, there is help. And I'm going to tell you what, that guy that I latched on to, he shared his story with me. I'm sharing my story with you so that you can know that if I can do it, doggone it, you can do it. That's the end of the episode. I'm going to leave you with this. Take some time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. Y'all have a great day. Peace.